All right, last lab. Woohoo! This lab should be a piece of cake because you've done everything in this lab before. You are being tasked with locating some suitable sites for backcountry yurts for Snow Basin Ski Resort. These are the parameters for the yurt site. The yurts must be located within 2.5 kilometers of Snow Basin. So we give you some XY coordinates that you're going to put in an Excel spreadsheet. You're going to add them to ArcMap, display the XY data, and then take that temporary event and convert that to a permanent shapefile. That permanent shapefile can then be buffered to 2.5 kilometers. We also give you a road layer for the whole county. You're going to want to clip that first, but then you're going to buffer it to 250 meters because the yurts can't be within 250 meters of a road. The yurts also can't be built on a lake or a wetland, so we give you a shapefile identifying where those locations are. You'll have to erase those features from your results. The yurts have to be on land that has a less than 10% slope. So we're going to give you a DEM that you can create a slope surface from, and then you're going to need to isolate the areas that are less than 10%. And then the final step is just to figure out which of these kind of remaining areas is at least 2 acres in size. And to do that, you'll convert your reclassified slope raster to polygons and calculate the area. Like I said, really straightforward, right? Just one step at a time, and you'll just knock this out in no time at all. This is a picture of what the results might look like, minus the slope reclassification. But here's the roads layer. I clipped this using a buffer around Snow Basin that was just a little bit bigger than this buffer, so it wouldn't just end right at the 2.5 kilometer buffer. But a clipped orange road layer that's buffered to 250 meters, yellow Snow Basin location that's buffered to 2.5 kilometers. That's the green circle. The blue is the wetland layer. Basically what you're looking for here is low slope areas that fall between the green buffer and the red road buffer. These are the areas that are suitable for building. You just have to take slope into consideration still. So this is a review. Hopefully you've seen these slides before. Just want to remind you that when you run slope, you have 2 options for units. You can run it in percent rise or in degrees. And in previous labs, you've always run it in degrees. That's the default that kind of pops in here. But for this lab, you need to make sure you're changing this to percent rise. When you go to reclassify the slope raster into 2 classes, isolating the slopes that are less than 10%. So when you bring this into the reclassify tool, you're going to want to hit the classify button and simplify this for yourself so you're not dealing with all these different classes. So hit the classify button. Remember, it's a glitch. You need to change this to equal interval or something else. Change your classes to 2, and then drive this value to 10. So just click here, overwrite whatever value is in there to 10. When you hit OK, it'll update the classify window to 2 different classes, low slopes, 0 to 10%, and everything else, 10 to the maximum. So remember that if you drive this to 0 and create a binary raster, your output's going to look like this. And the problem with this is we're only interested in these low slope areas, and you're going to want to convert these to polygon. And if you have both true and false, both pieces get converted to polygon. We're not interested in all this pink. So when you do your classification, make sure you change this steeper slope class to no data to make them go away. We're only interested in converting these low slope areas to polygons. This is just a review. All right, and then this is going to be important for this lab, this Explode Multipart Feature tool. Some students, when they run this lab, end up with one record representing all of these little polygons. And because you need to calculate 2 acres, which polygons are greater than 2 acre, you want to make sure that each one of these polygons has its own record in the attribute table. So you can click here in the attribute table to select all the records, and then start editing. Your editor toolbar, start editing. You need the advanced editor toolbar open, so right click in any gray area to open advanced editing or advanced editor. And then this button here is the Explode Multipart Feature button. So with everything highlighted or selected, just click the Explode Multipart Feature. You will see the attribute table update to the 7,000 or whatever polygons that you have left in your analysis. Remember that it won't update the shape area automatically. You'll need to either create a shape area or right-click, calculate geometry to update this field. Okay, so again, make sure when you run your slope that you're calculating it in percent. I don't want to have to tell you after the fact and have you go back and retrace your steps and start, half your analysis over again. So save yourself some time and make sure that you run your slope in percent rise. And then for your submission, you're submitting a formal map with the results of the appropriate yurt sites, exported to PDF. There are a couple answers or questions that you have to answer, and then you're submitting a screenshot, cropped and captioned, showing us a snapshot of your analysis and kind of how you got to the final results. And that's it.